Well, hello out there, Hyperion Adventurers. You may notice from the music that this is not going to be your regular podcast episode this week. And there's some reasons behind that. First, I want to say thank you for joining us and thank you for listening to this. As you may notice, it's just me, Tom, today. Of course, far less interesting of the Hyperion Adventures podcast team, but there's a reason why Michelle isn't going to be joining me for this little message today. And it's been a tough little over a week here for us. We had planned to bring you a regular show today. We had all the equipment. We had some things that we were ready to discuss. But some things over the last week happened. Life happens, unfortunately. And so we've had to change course with a couple of things. And we wanted to share that with you because we feel that you are our family. You are our Hyperion Adventurer family. And we wanted to bring you into the loop as to what is happening right now or what has happened. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you how things kind of broke down for us. I will say right now that we are actually in Florida as we speak, and there's a reason behind that, and I'll get all to that. So I'm going to take you back to last Saturday, which is actually when we recorded our last podcast, by the way. And that evening, we received a message that Michelle's mother was involved in a bit of what ended up being kind of a serious accident. And she ended up with multiple fractures in her femur and up near her hip. And, we thought it was going to be okay, that, obviously it's not a great situation. No one wants a broken bone of any sort, but that's a tricky one to begin with. But there were some complications. She lives here in Florida. She lives in Kissimmee. And so we were very concerned about that. We stuck around that evening, found out that she was going to have surgery for it. We did have our niece, Nicole, and bless you, Nicole, for standing in and helping us out with this, to be by her side for much of the first few days. So she went through the surgery. We did go on our planned Disneyland trip for at least one day because there was just really nothing we could do at that point until we found out more. So we did go, but then we had to back out of our trip early. We were planning on being there 2 days. We only went one, spent one night at the Disneyland Hotel. We will recap all that stuff for you when we feel we're comfortable doing that, but it won't be this week, maybe next week. And then we kind of decided, once we heard all what happened, she went through surgery successfully and everything, that we needed to head back and try and make plans to get out to Florida. We were already planning on going to Florida a week later, actually, to see her and spend some time with her, as well as do a little couple things at Walt Disney World. So after hearing what was going on, we just pushed our trip ahead. We changed our flight, got out there as quickly as we could. We red-eyed out on Tuesday evening, arrived Wednesday morning, got to the hospital Wednesday morning, very little sleep. And we spent the next few days there kind of transitioning between our Michelle's sister and brother-in-law's condo out in the Melbourne, Space Coast area, and then traveling back and forth to the hotel to be with Michelle's mother. And it was a tough few days. She was struggling through this. It wasn't going well. And Michelle spent very long days. I spent very long days with her as well. Out there, trying to make things as best as possible. And there were moments where things were going well and things were going good, and we thought that we're going to progress in the right direction. And then there were times when they weren't. But unfortunately, Saturday morning, we received a call from the hospital that it was looking really, really bad. So we headed out there as quickly as we could, got out there, and unfortunately, Michelle's mother had passed away. And it's very painful right now. And I'm sorry, we are the Positive Podcast. We don't like to bring you down on this, but you are our family. We wanted to let you know what's going on. So obviously it's tough right now. I don't know how many of you have gone through something similar to this, but it's never a situation you want to deal with. It's terribly sad. Luckily, Michelle's mother went out peacefully at the end. And she was a wonderful woman, strong woman, lived a long life, a long, wonderful life, had fantastic children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews. She was really great. And hopefully, and I know she's in a better place now, and pain-free and moving on. But anyway, so we're not, obviously, for obvious reasons, we're not bringing you a show this week. This will be the first time. I think there was once where we did a best of, but we still gave you some new content on that episode. But this will be the first time since we've begun this podcast that we're not giving you a podcast episode. But we just needed some time to kind of regroup here, and just didn't feel like this was the time to be sitting here and joyfully talking about our Disneyland trip or our Walt Disney World visits or anything in Disney. The great news that is Disney out there right now, Disney Cruise is restarting and everything else. We just wanted to take this time and remember what a great woman Michelle's mother is. I wanted to be there for Michelle to make sure she gets through this tough time. We may still, if we can this week, we are planning to possibly still visit Walt Disney World to kind of more of as a diversion more than anything else, to get her mind, to get Michelle's mind, get our minds off of what's, this thing that's happened. But we'll see. We're just kind of playing it by ear, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute right now. But we want to thank you. You all are such wonderful people. We love you dearly. It's really been a tough time, but we know that eventually things are going to get better, and we're looking forward to doing more shows for you, with you, and discussing topics that you want to hear. All I can say, I'm just going to close this out real quickly. It's not I didn't want to take a lot of your time. I didn't want to depress you completely. We are getting through this thing, and we are doing okay. It's going to be a process, just like everything else when you're going through grief. It's going to be a process, but we're doing okay. More than anything else, I just want to remind you all that if you get the chance, call your mother, call your father, call your sisters, brothers, kids, whatever. Tell them you love them at every chance you get, because you just never know in this world. And your friends too, all your friends you love. Reach out on social media today and tell somebody you love them. Reach out through a phone call, through a text, any way you decide. Just reach out to people that are dear in your heart, and make sure they know. And try and do it as often as possible, because things can happen suddenly. So again, don't want to bring the day down. I just wanted to let you all know what's going on, why we don't have a new episode this week, but we will regroup. We will rally from this, and our hope is to have a new episode for you next week. Getting back to what we did experience at Disneyland, because we did experience some good things despite our concerns with what was going on. If we do get out to Walt Disney World this week, which I think we're going to try, we will discuss what we have out there as well, and hopefully that will all come up in next week's episode. But anyway, I'm going to close this out. I just wanted to let you know, Michelle sends her love. We love you all. Thank you for being a Hyperion Adventurer, and we will talk with you very soon. Much love to you all.